How do you do London in just one day? Usually when people ask me this, I tell them you can't because there's just too much to do and see here. But if you only have one day in London, here is how I would suggest that you spend it. By the way, I'm Jess. I've lived in London for 11 years, and my business, Love in London, helps people like you to explore this city like how us locals do. And today we're going to be following the day one route of my London itinerary, so we'll be following along via its digital map. Our first stop is a breakfast spot that you have definitely heard of, but it might surprise you. We're going to start the day with breakfast at London's most popular Indian restaurant, Dishoom. And I know a lot of you will have Dishoom on your list already. However, if you go for dinner, you'll find lots and lots of long queues at each of their locations. However, you can avoid having to wait in line by going at breakfast. And if you're thinking Indian for breakfast, that sounds insane, this is actually one of my favorite breakfasts in all of London. So let's go inside. So what Dishoom do for breakfast is a menu that's basically a fusion of Indian and English breakfast dishes. I always go for the vegan sausage naan. I love it. Jamie, who's behind the camera, he's ordered the egg naan. And I also always order the house chai because it's really tasty and a good way to start the day. Okay, perfect, thank you. This is naan bread, if you're not familiar with Indian cuisine. And then we've got vegan sausage on the inside with this chili sauce, which is like really good. Still as good as ever. Okay, I'm full, so it is time to go and start exploring. So we are gonna head over to Green Park because that is on the way to one of the biggest sights to see when you're in London. So let's go. That's it. Might be sticking up a little bit. Let's do it. We're gonna start our exploring from Green Park Station, which we easily navigated to with the digital map that comes with my London itinerary. And we're starting here because we're gonna go right through the beautiful Green Park, which I think is so lovely to explore, especially in this autumn season, which is when we're filming. And it's gonna take us right to something that you guys might have heard of, Buckingham Palace. Terrible joke. Let's go. We've made it to Buckingham Palace, and there's a few different ways you can see this monstrosity. The first way is to come and look at the outside, get your picture, and go. This is personally my favorite way because there tends to be huge crowds here, especially around 11 a.m., which is when the changing the guard happens, which is the second way that you can come and do Buckingham Palace. It doesn't happen every single day, but this is a very royal tradition where it's kind of like a parade where the guards get changed right at 11 o'clock, and then the ones that are leaving go that way down the Mall. Finally, if you are in town from July till early October, the royal family opens up the staterooms for public visits. You do need to buy tickets in advance. They do sell out fairly fast, but this is quite a unique way to go see the actual inside of Buckingham Palace. You also could go to the Royal Mews any time of year, which is the actual working stable of the royal family, where you can see the horses that they use and also the carriages that the family has used throughout the centuries. It's actually pretty cool. I think it's a really interesting spot to see. By the way, when you do come to Buckingham Palace, you need to make sure you look at the flag at the top of the building because that is going to tell you if the king is in the building at the moment or not. So today we can see that the royal standard is flying, which means the king is in fact in there. But if it's just the regular Union Jack, it means that he's not. The king and queen don't actually live in Buckingham Palace. They live kind of back there in a place called Clarence House. Okay, let's get out of here and go to a really beautiful space. This is St. James's Park, and I love walking through here because it all just feels very regal. Yeah. If you've got the itinerary digital map, you can wander around this park and see some of the main points of interest here. I definitely recommend coming to the Blue Bridge, which is what we're on, because there's a couple of good vantage points that are great for photos. Also, have a look at all the wildlife in this park, but especially the pelicans. These are actually the descendants of a pair of pelicans that were gifted by the Russian ambassador to the royal family back in 1664. And since then, there have been 40 pelicans that are part of the royal family and have called this park home. So definitely spot them if you can. Okay, we're gonna wander a bit more and then head to our next place, which is very iconic. This is Parliament Square, home to many of the UK's biggest protests over over the centuries, and it's surrounded by iconic buildings like Westminster Abbey, filled with tombs and memorials of kings and queens and the greats, and it's been the location of many royal weddings, funerals, and coronations. There's also the Houses of Parliament. This is where almost all of the UK government's decisions are made. If you've ever seen any of those clips of like UK politicians yelling at each other in a like crazy manner, that happens in there. And you can actually tour the inside of this amazing building. It is stunning and very old. However, they only do tours on Saturdays, and it's very hard to get tickets directly with the Houses of Parliament. So if you're gonna do both Westminster Abbey and you wanna do this, I highly recommend booking a tour with walks, which gets you skip the line entrance to both of these. The tour guides are really great. It's like, I highly recommend it. So I'll leave a link to that down in the description box. And of course, Elizabeth Tower. Do not call this Big Ben, by the way. The tower is called Elizabeth Tower. Big Ben is the name of the bell on the inside. Okay, once you're done exploring this area, I quickly want to show you a really great photo spot for the London Eye. So if you want a picture of the London Eye, I think it's best to do it on the opposite side of the river, because then you can get a photo that's like straight on versus just being right under it when you're over there next to it. A lot of people only like come this far where we are, but if you keep going down a little bit further, you're like properly straight on and there's just nobody else around. So it's easier to take a picture. Now we're heading over the river to the South Bank. And to do that, we need to go on Westminster Bridge, which we're on right now. Now, to be honest, this is not my favorite place to go. It's usually very crowded. There's lots of people selling stuff. It's kind of a prime area for pickpockets, but I know you guys want to get your pictures and have a look at the views. That's fine. Also, we don't really have any other option for getting to the other side of the river anyway. So come on the bridge, do your thing, and then we're moving on to the next place. By the way, if you're coming to London for more than one day and you're currently trying to make your itinerary, I know that is so hard to do. It's very common to feel overwhelmed while you're trying to do days and days worth of research to figure out how exactly you're going to fit everything into your London trip. Well, the good news is I've actually done all of that for you with my London itinerary. As a London expert, I know the best routes to take for a few days in London to most efficiently and properly do this city. I give you daily routes that take you to all of the top attractions in London while also taking you to some amazing hidden gems that you cannot miss. Plus, I give you tons of options so you get to pick what you want to do based on your budget, interests, and desired travel pace. Plus, we give you extras like the Attractions Pass Guide, which helps you save a lot of money on your attractions tickets, and the Toilet Guide, which I made because I always have to know where the toilets are when I'm running around London, and I figured a lot of you would also want to know that information too. Thousands of people have used my 3, 4, 5, and 6 day itineraries, so to see what the fuss is about, click the link in the description box or scan this QR code on your phone to find out more. We've made it to the London Eye. If you want to get in a big glass pod and rotate around in a circle for 30 minutes, then this is going to be the time to do it. And when you're done with that, please move on to the next spot. So I need to run to the loo, and so I pulled out the toilet guide from the itinerary, and it told me that there's actually just a toilet over here. So we're on the way to have a little pit stop for me. This is Leek Street Tunnel. This used to be where the taxis would wait back when the Eurostar would come into Waterloo Station. Then it became disused for a while until the Banksy came in 2008 and set up a street art festival here. And ever since then, this tunnel has been a place that anybody can come and spray paint any type of art that they want to, and people do. There are some incredible pieces in here that you have to see. So come on down, it's completely free to walk through. There are also a couple of bars and an event space here. Onwards. We've made our way back to the River Thames, to the area that's called the South Bank or the Queen's Walk. And you do have to be careful around here. Some of the stuff is kind of rank, but if you know where you're going, there's some nice bits. And also it's lovely to walk along the river, of course. A couple bits I love is a South Bank book market under Waterloo Bridge. It runs almost every day, and they sell used and new books as well as prints and some other amazing things. And the South Bank Center gift shop. It is a great gift shop with lots of really unique and interesting items from British artists and makers, and proceeds from the shop help to support arts initiatives in the UK. I do not recommend, if you're on the South Bank, to go to any of these restaurants. They're basically all just like mediocre chain restaurants that are not going to be that nice, so avoid. We've made it to the Tate Modern, which is a contemporary art gallery and museum. It is completely free to visit, which, you know what that means. Free toilet stop. I have got this toilet on the toilet guide for the London Itinerary. No, but if you like art, especially contemporary / modern art, this is definitely a place you're gonna wanna stop into. They also have incredible special exhibitions, which you do require tickets and usually you have to pay for those. Plus, they have a very good gift shop. It's very artsy and cool. I really like it. Are you hungry? Let's finally go get some lunch and something that's actually really good.
We're doing a quick lunch stop at Caravan. It's all-day dining here with a seasonal menu of dishes from various places around the world. It's tasty, dietary requirement friendly, and the cornbread is a must order. Okay, we're fueled, so let's keep going.
Borough Market. You're probably thinking, Jess, why didn't we have lunch at Borough Market? And I'll tell you why. That's because it gets absolutely rammed with people every single day of the week at lunchtime. So I'm trying to save you from waiting 30 minutes in a line trying to get the lunch that you're gonna eventually have to eat standing up because it's so busy inside the market. Instead, I would recommend coming after lunchtime when it'll be a bit quieter and doing some souvenir shopping here, looking at all the stalls, and maybe picking up a nice pastry or coffee that you won't have to wait 25 minutes in a line for. And if you want to visit Borough Market on a weekend, good luck. Actually, I would recommend instead that you go over to one of my favorite markets, Maltby Street Market. It's about a 10-minute walk from here. It's a lot smaller and it's got a really nice diverse variety of food that you can choose from. Plus, it's right next to something called the Bermondsey Beer Mile, which is basically a bunch of breweries and distilleries underneath railway arches that serve you different types of drinks that you might want to try. And it's really fun and a great way to spend a weekend. Next up, we're gonna head to something that you are probably calling the wrong name. This is London Bridge. Not that. That's Tower Bridge, and we're going there in a bit. But for now, come to London Bridge for the views, but not the actual bridge because the bridge is ugly. And then move on to the next spot. Tower Bridge. Take a picture next to it, walk on top of it, watch it open up as the boats go by. We'll leave a link to a page that tells you when that's going to happen so you can have a look. This bridge is pretty self-explanatory. There's also the Tower Bridge exhibition, which, although quite touristy, I actually think is pretty good because it has really affordable tickets, there's lots of history to learn about the bridge, and there is a clear walkway that you can go across that is above the road, which I think is pretty freaking cool. So here we are. We're making our way down Bermondsey Street, which is a street that I love because despite being centrally located, it's actually really nice and quaint and has a neighborhood feel to it. There's some really lovely cafes and restaurants. There's also the Fashion and Textile Museum, which I highly recommend if you're into fashion and design that you go for a visit. We're gonna stop into the Woolpack, which is this fantastic pub that I love to have a pint in. And it should be pretty busy because it's about quitting time and everyone from the local offices here will go and be having a drink there too. I love the staff, I love the drinks, what they have on offer, and it's just like a really good vibe. Okay, just had our pint, and now it's time to go have dinner right across the road at the Garrison. Let's go inside. So the Garrison does kind of like a modern European menu. It's very small. It's fish, meat, and also one vegetarian option. The food is really good here. I also absolutely love the staff. They are so kind and friendly. And they do a really good Sunday roast here. So if you're coming on a Sunday, try the Sunday roast. You will be happy, I promise. Cheers. Thank you. Oh my gosh, wow. We both went for gnocchi that has cauliflower and a few other things. It looks incredible. And we got a couple of sides as well. They look so good. So tasty. And oh my God, everything is like cooked to perfection. All of the places that we visited today are on the day one route of our London itinerary, plus way more. So click the link down in the description box to find out more about that. And do you want to know about the lies that London tourists are still believing before they come to London that they shouldn't? Well, you should watch this video next because we're gonna tell you about them. Well, Phoebe's gonna tell you about them. So click to watch this video.